Like, I believe cinema is eternal, and sunshine brings you warmth. Like, you think of a sunny, sunshine, full day, it brings you warmth, happiness, a warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart. And I feel that's the contribution that movies and content in cinema has had in my life. So I just felt it fit, the words eternal sunshine. Coming to what are the kinds of stories that I would like to tell, I'm not somebody who feels कि मेरे को I want to tell something that is हटके, जो कोई नहीं बोल रहा है वो मुझे बोल. Everyone is telling the same kind of story. We are actually since the eons being saying the same stories. The setup is different. There's the underdog story, then there's the love story, then there's the revenge story, then there's the fighting for your loved one story. I will tell that story in different settings, in different forms, because we are all telling the same stories.
But isn't that something of concern that you are telling the same stories?
No,
but tropes. It's the tropes that people like us who are sitting on this side watching something unspool on cinema. And I'm very interested by the word you use, surprised. The script surprised you. We only want to be surprised.
Absolutely. So telling the same story, a familiar story in different ways. So that's what the endeavor is constantly for anybody trying to make a movie. But there is a certain misconception that, oh, they're trying to... See, you can't be just different for the heck of being different. At the end of the day, you want to see something... There's something familiar in a character that you're connecting with, that okay, there is maybe the character wants to achieve something, not being able to achieve it. Okay, now I'm already invested in the character. Now you go through the character's journey of trying to achieve it. And then finally, does the character achieve it or not? And maybe after achieving it, doesn't want it anymore. Yahi to aakh hai basically. But if you put it in every setting, you compare different films from Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood, Jollywood, whatever it is, it's the different language, a different setting, but the same story, because we are all actually telling the same stories. Even in our own personal lives, it's the same story. So, I mean, it's an high concept thing that I'm saying, but what I wanted to say is I don't want to tell only women-centric films. That's not what my endeavor is. I'll tell a story about a dog, about a cat, about a woman, about a man, about a father, about an uncle, about a dadi. I want to tell good stories. That's the endeavor. Stories that mean something to you, that maybe leave you with some lingering thought. Now, never say never. I'm not sure I would tell a story that doesn't teach you something. I don't know why. I just feel like, for me, whenever I've watched movies that leave me with a feeling like, I remember when I watched a movie like Wake Up Sid, for example, I suddenly wanted to become a photographer. Even if it was for 3 days, I wanted to become a photographer. So I'm like, okay, I love the fact that movies or cinema, or just content in general, even TV shows, can make you feel so like inspired and charged and can literally change your life. So if I can do that in some way with the content that I'm, with the content that I'm producing, then why not?
Yeah, but one little thing about, how a movie must have a message at the end of it, tacked in it, that again becomes reductive, isn't it? When you're talking about being inspired, yeah. I believe completely that movies can change your life.
No, not must have a message at the end of it is too much. Not even a message. It should just leave you with something. There may be a resolution between two characters that may happen in the pre-climax that leaves you with something. There may be a beautiful romantic scene between the girl and the boy, or the girl and the girl and the boy in the first 15 minutes of the film that leaves you with something. But I feel like there has to be a takeaway, which is not just a time pass watch. That I'm not sure I want. The thing is, I also don't understand that kind of content. Not from any other reason. I also think it's really hard to make that kind of content, which is just like a really fun watch. I'm not sure I understand that, so I wouldn't be able to add anything to that.
But is your approach to cinema, is it coming from your commitment to the craft, or your love for the craft, or do you even think about the fact that the kind of soft power you individually have today, you feel a sense of responsibility of doing something beyond just entertaining for those 2 hours?
Yes, absolutely. Try and make some point, some dialogue, or some moment that you really, really feel can impact somebody's life or leave you thinking about something. Like, it's basic, but yeah, I don't want to just be. Then I'll tell a story about a pillar. I mean, I'm saying otherwise, what is the point? There has to be something which is either I'm like commenting about something that I feel very strongly about, or that I just feel like maybe I learned something from. I don't know. I think the stories come, and you just have to feel. Sometimes it just clicks, and sometimes it just feels right. But yeah, there's a like you said, there's a huge responsibility that you have. So you have to know what is the message. I mean, what is the kind of story you're telling, and what are you putting out there in the universe for somebody to see that?
Very interesting, and maybe we come back to this more. But it brings me to the thought about the evolution of brand Alia the last 10 years. It's your 10th year in cinema, and the brand Alia earlier in pop culture, wherever you talk about Alia Bhatt, right? The first thought 10 years ago would be, ask her who the president is, and that was the constant thing that kept coming. But this time when I sent my
Draupadi Murmu ji.
When I sent this message out for this Adda to some of my friends here, some of them are here, the kind of responses I got was, we want to hear from her. She's so smart. She's wiser beyond her days. She's, your positioning, your brand. Just talk to us about that journey. How do you see that? Not just in cinema, but your brand Alia in India. How has that emerged? How has that evolved over the 10 years?
Well, honestly, I'll be very honest. I love it when people, think that I'm unintelligent, or like that, oh, she's so dumb, or she's not passed.
You love it when people think
I love it. I genuinely do, because they make so many memes on me, which adds to the popularity. And then it's like, but you're loving my movies, and even if you're like, okay, but she's so dumb, but I'm like, okay, but I'm still a part of the movie, so there's something that I'm possibly doing right within the movie business. I may not have the other side of it. But actually, the reason I love it, let me tell you, is because I don't think I want to put out this message also to young girls that intelligence is purely, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, but that general knowledge, book intelligence, in my opinion, is not intelligence. That is something that is a part of the layer, but actually to survive in a world, you have to have a certain emotional intelligence, which is possibly the highest form of intelligence, because that makes you take some decisions which are not very studied or very calculated or very by the book. So I'm not by the book. I mean, I think that's something that I really say very loudly. I genuinely don't even remember anything that I studied in school from a book. What I remember was my maybe interactions with my, teacher from the dramatics, or when I took part in like inter-school competitions or sports competitions. That is what I really understood. Obviously, I'm not becoming a doctor or a scientist or whatever, so I didn't need to do that. It's totally different for somebody who's in that field. But I think it makes people who maybe want to lean towards a creative field know that, okay, if you know the creative aspect of it, at the back of your head and at the back of, that strongly, then it's okay if you don't know the other aspect of it. And my father said this to me, that you'd literally rather be stupid than pretend to be intelligent. So I literally rather be stupid than pretend to be intelligent. I ask the questions. Like recently somebody had this interview, and this was on the 23rd of July, where somebody asked me who's the president of India, and I was like, but see, right now, the ceremony has not happened yet. So I'm not sure what to say, so I'd rather not say anything. Because if I say something, then again you're going to point a finger on me. But still, I really don't care, so I'm totally okay with that. Speaking about my evolution as my brand and all of that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. Because I don't think this is just a 10-year journey. I want to be, in the industry, acting, making movies till I'm like 90, till I can walk, till I'm making sense. So yeah, for me, it's a really long road ahead.
Okay, so more memes coming up. Yeah. It's something you just said, which struck me as really interesting, is that a minute ago when we were talking about having no filters, and you had, and I asked you, so did you have any filters in the first place? And you said, "पहले थोड़े थे, अब तो बिल्कुल नहीं हैं." So what has that? What has shifted? I mean, why are you saying that now you have no filters at all? Because that is who you are, right? Can you be any other way other than who you are?
That's what I'm saying. I've actually never had any. Actually, I'm a person who doesn't have filters. But there's a certain maybe level of. By filter, I mean, कि of course I have. See, I don't think I'm a bad human being. So I will never say something wrong in that sense where I feel कि मुझे इतना डरना चाहिए with the kind of thinking I have or the kind of person I am. Maximum what I'll make a mistake. I'm okay with making a mistake. But nowadays you're getting trolled for sneezing. Or breathing. Or getting out of a car. So am I worried about that? No. Not at all. Am I worried about making a mistake? No, not at all. Because if I don't make a mistake, how am I going to learn? Or how am I going to question? So the fact that I made the mistake once in my life, maybe of not knowing who the President of India is, and I have to say in my defense, for the millionth time, I knew who the President of India was. It was just confusing. You put anybody in spot and say, answer de do, all wrong answers come out. Okay? That just always happens. Anyway. It is true. What was I saying? So what I'm saying is, so what I'm saying is, I'm okay with making mistakes in general because otherwise I don't believe I'll be able to learn if I don't ask the questions. I'm okay with being wrong. I'm okay with being incorrect. And now, yes, I was explaining to you how I don't have a filter anymore because maybe I'm just really comfortable with the person that I am today. I'm almost going to be 30. And maybe this is the start of like extreme comfort with the person that I am and the personality that I am and the thoughts and values that I have.
At one point, we would hear, the idea of doing OTT or big screen. At one point, the thought was, producer wants to get risk averse if OTT is offering him a good price, and the stars are hesitant. They want to be larger than life. They want to be on the screen. You're disagreeing. I'm saying at one point this was the thought, and now stars and producers are much more inclined or they're much more in harmony to make that decision whether they should do OTT or whether they should do big screen.
What makes you a star? Ek to love. Love comes from giving audience content that they love. So where the content, of course, there's a certain kind of star when you are bringing money on the box office, वहाँ पे आपका वो दिखता है ना कि वो star power है and all. At the end of the day, it's the content power. ये एक चीज़ तो हम सब ने समझ लिया है कि content is what's bringing that power even on the box office. Similarly, on an OTT platform, if the content is good, 3 years from now, who's going to remember कि मैंने ये OTT पे देखी थी तो मेरा प्यार थोड़ा सा कम है या थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा है? Why? प्यार is प्यार. Content good is good. So whether it's sitting on an OTT platform or on the theater, the love will come if it's good.
But the star, for a star, don't you feel that being so large, being just having such a large screen and such a large presence with such a captive audience enjoying it together, that's helping you become a star also? I guess you don't agree with that.
It's a difficult question for me to answer. And I would like to believe that there's a certain larger than life element in the big screen which you cannot replace.
Yeah.
But there is, the bottom line is that the depth of good content standing the test of time is something that actually everybody should go for and does go for. कि हमारे films कितने साल तक याद रहेंगे when you are still talking about a performance of Nargis from Mother India, when we still speak of that, it's standing the test of time. You're not talking about ye, wo and all, that's all ये मतलब बात बात की बात है. So I don't know. In my opinion, love comes and the stardom comes from the content that you give the audience and the people.
Right.
Can I ask a question about stardom? What is the most difficult part of being a star? Is it sometimes, do you really feel like running away from the gaze that you're constantly being subjected to, particularly when it comes to very private things? Does that concern you? What is the, I mean, everyone, we all think that your lives are, they are limned with light, and you live in oxygen bubbles and all kinds of things. But what is the hardest part of that?
Hello? I don't think I've ever had that moment where I felt like I wanted to run away, so to speak. And I've actually been one of the people who has faced a lot of random hate on, these online platforms, sometimes totally unexpected and unneeded, and sometimes because of something that I've said, or sometimes just whatever, randomly. But wo sab,
You're saying it's part of the game?
I think beyond a point where you don't really think, you don't really care about that, yeah. You care about it to a certain level, I think, at a certain point in your life, but after a point you don't really care, because if you're loving the movies and if you're giving the movies love, then why should I have any complaints?
But here I'm talking about people loving you because of your movies. So there is the love that comes to you. Does it sort of, it's not always, it's not always good. It can also be like because you belong to the person who's bought a ticket, so they can say whatever they want. Where do you have a line? Like, bus, this is it and no more.
No, nobody's coming to my face and saying this to me, no? So I'm not really feeling that, I'm not really that affected by it.
Okay.
I genuinely feel like, yeah, there is a feeling that we are buying your ticket, we can say whatever you want. You say audience is king, they can do whatever the hell they want. It's a free country, you can say what you want. It's okay. Now what can I do? I'm not going to be like, nahi, mere ko bura lag raha hai, to bura lag raha hai, to matlab dessert khao. I'm not going to be like, I'm feeling so bad. Though nobody owes me anything, man. Come on, like, the world is, like, life is hard. Just live, like, suck it up and move on. Put that hardness into your performance. Like, there was a time where people were just going at me because of being alive. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yaad rakhna isko, aur ek scene mein dal dena. It'll be so convincing, they'll be clapping for you. Then ho gaya.
Okay.
Right. It's really no issue. Listen, genuinely, even when there's like moments of like breach of privacy and all of that, it's okay. Like, even people ask me about this pap culture and all of that. We are all a part of one industry. It's one family. There's a lot of mutual respect and love. At the end of the day, they are also doing a job. If I don't want to be clicked, I need to work very hard to make sure nobody's clicking me. It's fine. Like, it's all a give and take, and we are all should be living in harmony and peace. I don't have any negative thoughts in general about anyone, and if people have negative thoughts about me, then okay, sorry, too bad.